Are you ready?
Yeah. Go for it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and right now it's totally different scenery. Is it no, it's not scenery. Okay, welcome back to our channel. So today we're doing something different. It's nighttime and the kids are sleeping, and it's hard to do this kind of videos with them around us, so we're doing it at nighttime. That's the only difference.
Yep.
And how are you feeling? Are you still alive?
I worked in the morning, came home, take care of the kids, and
Take care of the kids.
putting them to
You only
sleep.
took care of one.
And here I am now,
Okay.
toughing it out. All
Sure.
right.
Okay, so in this video, we will be sharing about the important things that we should be teaching our kids. So let's go start with number one. First off, I just want to say that parents should be the one that need changing first before we can change our kids. And I say that because it starts from parenting, it starts from us, and the kids will copy us, the way we are, the way we talk to them, and stuff like that. And parents need to change first with pretty much how we were raised, how our parents raised us. Well,
Yeah.
as for me, like, I wasn't raised as good, so my goal is to change myself first so I can teach my kids the right way. And what I'm trying to say is be more present and conscious with parenting and how you teach your kids and how you talk to them. You really have to be conscious and deal with that situation, because a lot of people, even me and my husband, we until now we're really trying our best. That's why we're trying to make this video, because we want to share our struggles, because right now we were struggling with changing the way we are, the way we talk to each other. And so it's so hard, like when he makes a mistake and we get so annoyed because we have to do things or we rush things, you know. But then we have to be very conscious and present at that moment, whatever the child needs, and be more understanding with their feelings and not deny their feelings. Do you know what I mean? And there's no bad or there's no good child, like I said with my other videos. It's the way the parenting is.
Well, everything starts from home.
Yeah.
So the way I was raised, obviously anybody from the 90s, you get beat, you get yelled at a lot. And the more you get yelled at, the more you get.
In the 90s. Okay.
90s baby. Or even, I'm just saying, I don't know about this generation.
You're making me look like I'm so old. No, I'm from the 80s and he's from the 90s.
Yeah, but
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
but used to being beat, used to getting yelled at all the time, and used to being cursed at all the time and slapped for every little accident, made me very angry person. I used to argue a lot. I used to punch the walls a lot, break toes a lot. So we're just trying to change away from how our parents raised us, and we want to change it in a different way and guide our kids a different way than the way they did. I'm not saying they did a bad job, but obviously it created a lot of anger.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Our parents might be watching this right now.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Not saying that they weren't doing their best, but obviously with the knowledge we have now, and obviously doctors and proven facts on what we should do to actually improve a kid's what they see and how they follow our actions. So that's why we're doing this video, so we could kind of show you how we are doing it and how are we changing the cultural ways of teaching kids.
Yes. Yeah, that's the word, I guess, the cultural thing, right? Okay. Good job, Ed. Good job. See, he's doing good.
I'm so tired.
Shut up. Then we shouldn't be doing this anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Okay. So, okay, guys, the number one thing that we want to change first is, like I said earlier, is the way we talk to them. Not just talking to our kids, but talking with each other.
Correct.
Or to each other.
Just the way
right?
we taught each other.
Yeah.
And for example, if she was disciplining my son or my daughter, and if I disagree with it, I should not come in during the moment she's disciplining, because it kind of shows the side that I am on in front of my kids. When I should wait until she disciplines them and pull her to the side and actually explain to her what I disagree and what not to disagree. But we shouldn't disagree in front of each other, in front of our kids, because we have to be on the same page.
On the same team.
Same page.
Oh, team me. No, I'm just kidding.
Just trying to be funny, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, no, teaching the way we talk is what I mean is me talking to him and him talking to me as well. Like, we, like, arguing in front of our kids, we really try so hard. We're trying really hard not to do that in front of the kids anymore, and pretty much just talking, like, better. Like, the annoyance, because sometimes I'm so annoyed and it comes out, like, in front of our kids when I talk to him. Stuff like that, you know? Or, like, if something, like, he didn't understand and I get so mad. Like, stuff like that. Like, I have to be more conscious and aware of how I talk, my face, and my actions.
Especially when the child is actually looking at you when you're doing that. So, for example, when we used to argue, she used to kick me out the room and tell me to sleep on the couch. So this is how fast my son caught it. We did it only a couple of times in front of him. And so when we started arguing, my son would immediately tell me to go outside and sleep on the couch and slam the door on me. And that's how fast they pick it up. So that's why we got to be cautious on how conscious about how we speak to each other, to your, your wife or your husband, in front of each other, in front of your child. It's really important, because the way we treat each other is how they're going to treat us. Yes. So, but we're really good with, I mean, he's really good with... I'm really good at saying sorry. She is horrible. No, I actually do say sorry. I think it's just hard for me to just say okay right away. It took a lot of prayer before she does that. No, I have to pray too myself. So. Second is raising our child in godly way, by the Bible, by his word, and by his will. So pretty much everything that is in the Bible, how we should be teaching our kids, is what we're gonna aim for on how we're gonna raise our children, right? Obviously, when it comes to that, get them involved with churches. I want to show examples, like every night I pray or I read the Bible. Oh, yes. He sees me doing it. And right now, actually, because I do it so much now during the quarantine times, he actually reminds me to do it if I were to forget. So we'll go to bed and he'll be like, Dad, you didn't say Father Jesus. Or pray for me, Dad. Amen. And then he'll tell me to pray for him and stuff if I were to forget. And so those are the examples that I'm trying to set, is to do it in front of him. I don't wait until he sleeps. I do it and read the Bible while he's awake. If he's on his tablet or whatever, at least he knows what I'm doing with my wife, pulling out the Bible and reading God's word and, just guiding him. I'm not going to force him into it, but I am going to guide him as much as I can, because he needs to have his own relationship with God himself. Yes. So third is letting them make mistakes. I know for parents it's hard. Like for me, it's going to be hard for me. Like, because I will always want to be there so they won't make mistakes, or I always want them to, like, win, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, I always want them to, like, accomplish things. Like with Zane, even just playing games, like with friends, like, we kind of, like... Sorry, I'm laughing because... we're supposed to allow our kids to make mistakes. Yeah. Because they're young. But it's hard for parents to do that because you love your kids so much. It's not just hard for parents. It's hard for a wife to do that. Every time I make a mistake, I'm the worst person in the world. That's why I'm laughing. It's because I can't make a mistake. If I make a mistake, I'm like... No! I'm like a no good husband or something. No, that's you. You're different, okay? You're not my kid. But I can't make mistakes. No, that's not what I meant. But like letting them make their own mistakes. Like let them fall. Like in the future, like they have to learn from their own mistake. We can't always like catch them when they fall. You know what I mean? They have to learn from it so they can grow. So that's the one thing we want to teach our kids is learning from their mistakes and
Yeah, just pretty much because we don't want them to depend on us, because we want them to make their own life decisions, and when they make a mistake that they will get up on their own feet. Like we teach our son already, like since he was little, every time he falls on the ground and hit his head, like we're like, okay, you're okay, get up, you can do it, like, you know.
Unless he's bleeding really
Yeah,
bad.
of
But
course, and unless
yeah.
he's really really hurt.
My
of
saying
course.
is that if I told you not to run, and you run, and you fall, you got to pick yourself up.
Pretty much that's what we want to teach our kids. So that leads us to number 4, which is guiding them the right way. And what I mean by that is, instead of telling them of what to do, like, oh, this is how you should do it, this is how you should, where you should go, instead of doing that, um, our plan is to just guide them through it and give them like some examples in life. Like for example, like in religion, right? Like we would just tell them, if we say bad things about other religion because we want them to go with Christianity, instead of saying bad things about other religions so they won't go there, then instead of doing that, we can't do that. Like it's what I mean. Like we can't say bad things about other religion.
What we're trying to say is that you cannot say bad things about something in order to make your child to do something
to choose
else.
the better way. Do you know what I mean? Yes, yeah, that's what I meant.
That's what she meant.
Yeah. So so that's how we should be guiding our children, our kids. Because if we tell them that the other thing is bad and the other thing is the good one, then that would put something in their mind.
A curiosity.
Like, oh, okay, like this is, oh, I don't like you because my mom said that your religion is bad. You know what I mean? Okay, so next is love. Love, love, love. Because I grew up not knowing what love is. I was never shown, I guess when I was little, with my yeah. I was shown love, but it's
leave
not.
Names out of it.
I know. I yeah, they loved me when I was little, but then when I became an adult, like a teenage, like I've never really felt the love or a physical or emotional, like, you know. So that's the one thing I want to teach my kids, because me and my husband, well, he taught me what love is, really.
It was an accident, but I knew what love was because my family loved me. The only problem I had was probably having a male figure in my life. I didn't have a male figure in my life, so that made it a little difficult. And then not seeing how a man should treat a woman, obviously, you know, kind of affected how I treated a woman when I was younger, which wasn't good.
So next is value. So I made a video about knowing your worth and your value. So I will link it up there. And so that's the one thing I want to teach my kids, or our kids, I mean.
You just need me in the stomach. You just elbowed me in the stomach, but that's
I didn't mean to. But so yeah, that's the one thing that I want to teach our kids, is the value, because I grew up without value either. Like all these things that I want to change is because I've never had it. You know, so I want my kids to know their values, so they know that they are loved, so that they can grow up very confident in their life and, you know, and stable minded.
It's crazy how you don't realize how important it is to know your value, because obviously she grew up, you know, I don't know if if you've seen her video when she talked about value, how she was put down, and that's how she figured how she is. And it's the same thing with me. Supposedly, you know, my family, I was the black sheep. I was put down throughout my whole life. I didn't have a father, and they keep pointing out that I'm going to be like my father, and no value was put in my life. So I didn't see the value and the capability that I had inside of me. So that's the life I lived out. And, you know, thankfully God pulled me out of those situations, and I met her. And then obviously, you know, our learning process together, we learned our value, and now we stand our ground when people try to talk down on us. And we know our value. You know, if they don't appreciate us, we're gonna just walk away, because, you know, our value is worth more than the people discouraging us in our lives.
Yep, well said. Next is forgiveness. Forgiveness, because that is a really, really hard thing to do.
For her.
Not just for me, it's for everyone.
Between us, for her.
Okay, sure. Who's
Uh-huh.
sleeping on the couch tonight? No, I'm just kidding.
Can you forgive me?
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so yes, forgiveness, because forgiveness is very hard thing to do. So our plan is to show our kids how forgiveness should be and how you shouldn't hold grudge, because I do hold grudge, you know. So
If
it's
you
not a
didn't
good
say
thing.
that, I would have corrected you.
So yeah, it's not a good thing. So no, so yeah, forgiveness is very, very important thing to teach your kids, because that's the one thing in the Bible. If you cannot forgive others, how can God forgive you? You know, so that's the main thing that we want to teach our kids as well. Okay, so next, I don't know what number we are now, but next is no yelling and no hitting them. Yelling because, like, for example, if they make a mistake or if they drop water on the floor or on the carpet, you start yelling at them, and that's not a good thing. Yelling is the one thing that you should be avoid. It's kind of like in a relationship and a husband and wife thing. You want to avoid yelling at each other. You kind of want to do that with your kids as well, because they will grow up not resenting you, but you know, like, it's just not a good thing to
You don't want
show
them to
your
be afraid of
anger.
you.
Yeah, to be afraid of you. Yeah, that's the
You
word,
want
I
them to be
guess.
able
Yeah.
to open about it.
Yeah.
For example, I did yell at my son a couple of times. I am guilty for that. So, for example, he did spill water, and I was watching TV, and he was watching with me. He went to go grab some water, and he spilled water, which I didn't know, and I noticed he wasn't there. So, and I caught him hiding. And then I told him, "Why are you hiding?" And he looked at the water that he spilled. I don't want him to be like that. I don't want him to be hiding from his mistakes because I yell at him. Because when you yell at
Mm-hmm.
him, you're trying to put fear into somebody,
Yes.
and they're gonna start hiding the mistakes they make. And that's the
Yes.
last thing I want to do, is them hiding stuff they did wrong.
Ooh, you're so
For example, for
good. You
going,
just told me this now?
for example, for going to school, if they did something wrong, I want them to let me know
Yes.
instead of trying to hide it. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys know what we did when we were in school. So it's kind of like that. I don't want them to hide about it. I want them to be open about it and be able to guide them patiently, with the conscience that we have with our kids, guide them correctly,
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to scare them for every move they make. And they hiding it, and we don't know the mistakes they make. And that's kind of the scary thing, when they make mistakes and you don't know they are.
Yeah, and hitting them. Hitting them will just make them violent in their adult life. Okay, and they're gonna end up doing that outside or in school. You know,
Yeah.
so you don't want to be violent at home. So yeah, you don't want to teach that to your kids. You don't want to be showing violence at home, because they will bring that outside of the home. That's why everything starts from home. Do you know? So yeah, so cut that away in your life, okay? Okay? No hitting, or else I'll come to your house and hit you. No, I'm just kidding. So next is encouraging emotions.
Number 7.
So encouraging emotions is like, for example, if they feel a certain way, right? Instead of saying like, oh, why are you sad? Stuff like that. Or why are you angry? Stop being angry. Or like, don't say that, you don't mean that. Instead of saying those things, you encourage them, and you give a word or a name for what they're feeling. So for example, if they're like angry at you or at something else, right? Instead of like saying that, stop being angry, you're not angry, and stuff like that. Instead of saying that, encourage them to let you know what they're angry about. You know what I mean? Because you cannot suppress their emotion, because like I said on my other video, how childhood affects adult life, I said it on that video, that you cannot, that my emotions back then were suppressed, and I cannot tell them how I feel. And that's the one thing that I want to avoid with my kids, because I want them, like he said earlier, we want them to tell you how they not okay, not what he said earlier, because he said about the mistakes. So this time it's like we want them to express their emotions to us, of how they're feeling. Like for example, he feels upset at something, right? So we don't want to suppress that, because when they get older, they will not open up to you. So that in their adult life, they will be more open to us. And, you know, that's the one thing that we want to teach our kids.
So it's kind of basically what you're saying is don't do. It's kind of like, if my son is mad, it's like, why are you mad? There's no reason to be mad.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be doing that. Or why are you crying? There's nothing to cry about.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to trap their emotions. You want to be able to release their emotions and then teach them about those emotions or how to react instead of trying to shut them out without
understanding or like knowing what they're really feeling, you know. So yeah, so those are the things that we want to teach our kids, so when they grow up, their life will be better than our life. right
their lives will be better than our life.
Yeah,
I would say child.
And when we got married, that's the one thing that we want to do too. Like, we already talk about it. We're like, okay, when we have kids, I want to change the way we teach them, like the way we raise them.
Change the culture.
Yeah, the way we raise them because of how we were raised, you know. So yeah, those are the main goals that
I just wanted to add, I think it's really important to change the cultures because, you know, a lot of us that got taught in the cultural way or the beating way or the yelling way from our parents, you know, we did a lot of bad things. And, you know, you have to admit a lot of us lucked out and made it to where we are now. Not a lot of people is able to make it out in their situation. So you don't want your kids, you don't want to have that percentage of chance of them not making out to the world and being the right person. You know, we lucked out, we found God, and we became right.
So in the next video, we're going to be talking about how Christianity changed or saved our relationship. Yeah. So if you guys want to see that, so I guess that's the end of this video. But if you guys want to see that next video, don't forget to subscribe and like and hit the bell notification. And I will put it anywhere. So,
anywhere?
Yeah, so you do
Can you do it right in my fingers?
No.
That would be cool.
So yeah, so is there anything else that you want to say before we go? Because it's late.
God bless. Stay healthy. Stay safe. It is 11 o'clock. I'm going to sleep.